is a presentation of Fox Sports.
We are Black Force. We are St. Louis.
This is St. Louis Cardinals baseball, and tonight from Arizona, the Cardinals road trip comes to a close as St. Louis looks to take 3 of 4 against the Diamondbacks. One of the big stories around Major League Baseball, the rookie sensation of the Rockies, Trevor Story, 9 home runs. Oh, but how about this guy in St. Louis? Don't overlook him. This rookie, Aledmys Diaz, the sensational Cuban defector. He's at shortstop tonight. He's also Arquilla in the driver's seat. A remarkable story, Aledmys Diaz, and that's Tim McCarver. I'm Dan McLaughlin. Jim Hayes is also here, and Diaz is part of this story that is really starting to generate a lot of buzz, and that's the offense of the Cardinals.
Well, since the sweep by the Pittsburgh Pirates back in Pittsburgh to open the season, the offense of the Cardinals has been red hot. I mean, when you get that kind of production out of your 8-hole hitter, it would follow that everybody else would trail along, and that's exactly what has happened.
Ruby De La Rosa will get the call, a right-hander for the Diamondbacks here tonight, and try to stop this electric offense of St. Louis. Mike Owaka gets the call for the Cardinals. We have baseball coming up on Fox Sports Midwest. Gorgeous evening here in the Valley of the Sun as we take a look at our Kubota power stats. The Cardinals have 5 hitters with 4 or more home runs. All told, St. Louis with 33 home runs this year, just 1 back of the league leader, Arizona. Chase Field has seen plenty of home runs, 44, the most in baseball. Will that number rise tonight? We're about to find out. The Arizona Diamondbacks, the St. Louis Cardinals. It comes your way next. Baseball on Fox Sports Midwest is brought to you by Budweiser. This Bud's for you. By Chevrolet. Visit your local Mid-America Chevy dealer for great prices on the all-new 2016 Malibu. And by Menards. Save big money at Menards on all your home improvement needs. Roof is open tonight. And a beautiful night for baseball here in the Valley of the Sun. The Cardinals are 12-9. Arizona 11-12. Jim Hayes, Tim McCarver, Dan McLaughlin with you as we wrap up this road trip. And we'll be back at it tomorrow night in St. Louis against the Nationals. A look at Mike Matheny's lineup. It's Matt Carpenter, Stephen Piscotty, and Matt Holliday. Followed by Moss, Molina, and Adams, Jerko, Diaz, and the pitcher batting ninth, Michael Wacha. Ruby De La Rosa gets the call tonight for Chip Hale's club. And the first pitch is a strike.
A lot of breaking balls, good stuff. Good changeup taught to him by Pedro Martinez. The sweet taste of success somewhat last year when his record was 14-9.
Here's an 0-1 pitch. 1 ball and 1 strike. Carpenter leads the club from the leadoff spot in RBIs with 16. And he's drawn a team high 17 walks this year.
How about last night? Carpenter on base 4 times. Piscotty on base 5 times. So you get your 1 and 2 guys on base 9 times in a 9-inning ball game. You've done something. And of course they score 11 runs.
And Carpenter's been doing that at a very good clip as well. And he pops that foul out of play. Scored a run in each of the last 5 games. That's what you want from your leadoff man.
Sure. See
pitches, work counts, high on base percentage, score runs. And he does that.
Yep. That as well as anybody.
And now with 2 strikes on him, the Diamondbacks will shift to the right side of the infield. Outfield is straight away and deep. 2-2 is slapped the other way. That's slicing into the corner, and it is a foul ball. Had a nice conversation with Cardinals general manager John Mozeliak today as you get a look at Chip Hale. And he said, you know what? I know a lot of people are saying this is a surprise with the offense. It's not to me. This is the team that we thought we could be. We're obviously at a high clip right now offensively, but you know what? We're seeing production out of Moss. We're getting good production from Carpenter, Piscotty, as you mentioned. And Diaz has been ridiculously good. And Carpenter swings through that pitch and strikes out. The defense behind the right-hander tonight. Brandon Drury shifts over to left field. Chris Owings in center. David Peralta is in right. Jake Lamb and Nick Ahmed on the left side of the infield. Gene Segura, Paul Goldschmidt, who's won a Gold Glove, on the right side, and Chris Herman is behind the plate. And Around the Horn is presented by Dobbs Tire and Auto Centers. You'll notice Stephen Piscotty is playing center field tonight.
Yes.
Randall Grichuk 0 for his last 11, so he sits. Piscotty has played 1 game in center field in the big leagues. A total of 5 innings. In the minor leagues, 5 games, 23 innings. So if you add it all up, 28 total innings in professional baseball in center field and only 10 chances.
A lot of guys say it's easier to play center field because you get a better jump on the ball.
And
good breaking ball there. Wow.
He strikes out, and there's 2 down. The Hyundai pitch arsenal here for De La Rosa.
That changeup, he throws a little over 9% of the times when he's on. That changeup is as good a pitch as he has. Again, taught to him by Pedro Martinez. Ruby's grandmother was a nanny of the Martinez brothers, Pedro and Ramon.
Here's Holiday with 2 outs and nobody on.
So their history goes way back.
Hit sharply, and Ahmed, what a play. Diving to his left and takes a hit away from Holiday. He had a .997 fielding percentage a year ago. Looking at the video board here at the ballpark as they are celebrating the 2001 World Championship team here tonight. So their throwback uniforms are being worn this evening. His lineup will feature Gene Segura, Jake Lamb, and Paul Goldschmidt, followed by David Peralta, Brandon Drury, Chris Herman, Chris Owings, Nick Ahmed made a great play moments ago, and Ruby De La Rosa on the mound for the Cardinals. And coming off a win is Michael Wacha. Defeated the Padres, gave up 2 runs in 6 innings at Petco Park.
Second time in 2 years that Michael Wacha has been out of the chute in a hurry. He was 7-0, 9-0 in his first 9 starts last year. The Cardinals were, that is, and has won his last 3. The Redbirds have. Michael 2-0.
In those 3 games, you get a look at Jean Segura. He's allowed just 3 earned in his last 18 innings, so he's starting to dial it in. Segura leads the league at the 35 hits. And those 35 hits through the first 23 games, most in Diamondbacks history. So obviously off to a great start. And the 1-2 pitch. A strikeout of Jean Segura. Dobbs Tire and Auto Center's defense for St. Louis tonight. Holiday in left, Piscotti in center. Brandon Moss is in right. Carpenter, Diaz, Jerko, and Adams along the infield, and Yadier Molina is behind the plate. Brings in Jake Lamb, batting .296. It wasn't a great spring for Michael Wacha, but by the end of it, he had figured out a little flaw in his delivery, just a mechanical flaw that he had. And they said that once that happened, where he was able to correct it, everything got better. And what you're seeing here tonight is that downward tilt that he gets with the fastball, which just sets everything else up.
Talked about it a little last night. A lot of people are under the impression that pitchers don't get a lot of innings in spring training. A guy like Wacha really needs those innings, as does Wainwright, coming back off that injury from last year. Adam, the winner, his first win last night.
Here's a 1-2. Boy, it's all fastballs here in this first inning.
Yeah. All 4-seam fastballs. Michael Wacha does not have a 2-seam fastball, and that's where you get most of your ground balls.
Hyundai pitch arsenal for the Cardinal right-hander.
See, there's no 2-seamer in there. Got a cutter that acts like a slider, curveball, and a good changeup. But all fastballs so far.
There's the breaking ball. That pitch has really gotten better over the last year and a half. Paul Goldschmidt batting .250 with 6 home runs. He's driven in 16. And you might look at the average and you say, well, he's not hitting all that well. It's only .250. Well, you got to realize he's walked 23 times, so he's getting on base. 23 walks, most in baseball.
He's no less a threat batting .250 than he is batting .310.
Right. So the idea, be careful.
Well, those are words that catchers don't like to hear. I've got to tell you, be careful. Those 2 words, because that does not give you.
Strikes out the side here in the first.
Along the line. So Wacha not careful. Struck out 3.
Michael, be careful tonight with some of these pitches.
All 3 called.
That's right. It started with Jean Segura, Jake Lamb, and then the strikeout of Goldschmidt. No score as we head to the 7th. There's no score. Brandon Moss will dig in as we turn to our Toyota Keys to the Game with Tim McCarver.
Cardinals trying to keep those big bats booming. And boy, they have been booming. Averaging almost 7 runs a game, and that includes the first 3 against Pittsburgh.
Last 5 games, they've scored at least 7 runs. First time they've done that since 2011 in that championship team. Here's the 0-1. Quickly, no balls, 2 strikes on Moss, who's 5 for his last 7. There's so much information as we talk about for teams to evaluate individuals, and Michael Wacha, his first 15 pitches in his games have been very troublesome this year. There's a strikeout of Moss. Opponents hitting .583 against him, and you just wonder if he changed the pattern here tonight with all those fastballs early on.
Yeah. Well, the book on Michael Wacha is if you're a left-handed batter, don't let him get you out with a changeup. He's got one of the best changeups in the National League. So going up there, perhaps possibly looking for the off-speed stuff.
Here's Yadier Molina, who has reached base in 16 consecutive games. And his on-base percentage during this stretch is near .500. 3 for 10 in this series. RBI and a double. That pitch at 96 from De La Rosa. Seen an awful lot of strikes from both starters here the onset of this game.
Interesting that Chris Herman, the backup catcher, is catching Ruby tonight. Wellington Castillo is a neighbor of Ruby De La Rosa's in the Dominican Republic. Live about a block away.
1-2 pitch. Molina, base hit into right. I would venture to say there are more Cardinal fans in this series than Diamondbacks fans.
I think you're right, Dan.
Missouri Lottery Fox Track says Molina takes it the other way.
With 2 strikes, protecting away. First hit of the game for Yadier Molina.
Here's Matt Adams, a career .357 hitter against Arizona. Hitting .229 overall. More and more teams will always shift against Adams, but on the left side of the infield, the shortstop will play in until they get strike 1 on him. And now Nick Ahmed backs up. Spring training, Adams dropped down a couple of bunts for base hits.
Why not? They're going to give it to you.
The 0-1 is chopped foul past Billy Miller.
Matt Moore unlikely to drop a ball down. Obviously, with 2 strikes, he's not going to do that. But when you're not playing every day, you're not inclined to drop bunts down the third baseline. You want to swing the bat and impress your manager, the guy who put you in there, with swinging the bat, not bunting.
He's fighting for playing time right now.
Yes, he is.
And Tim, when you think about Mike Matheny's offense, you haven't gotten much from Colton Wong, haven't gotten a lot from Randal Grichuk. Holiday's been hit and miss, and yet this team is piling up, for them, historic numbers here in the first month. The 0-2. De La Rosa, by the way, a former minor league pitcher of the year back in 2010 with the Dodgers. And he was acquired in a 3-team deal back in 2012. And Chip Hale is trying to get innings from his starters. In this series alone, only 17 1/3 in 3 games. And the D-backs overall have really struggled here at home. Lost 9 of their first 13 here at Chase Field. And the starters in those 13 games with an ERA of 8. That's alarming.
Matt Adams with an inclination of swinging through balls. I don't think Molina is going to be running here. It's a bad combination. You got a guy who swings through a lot of pitches and a slow runner at first base. Good arm behind the plate.
Very short lead at first, and the 3-2 pitch. I think it's safe to say the Cardinals are a little frustrated that they are traveling late tonight. Get into St. Louis about 5 or 6 in the morning, and then have to play the Washington Nationals. They'll face Steven Strasburg tomorrow. None too pleased about the travel schedule with this getaway day. Pitch taken inside. First walk issued by De La Rosa.
Good at bat by Matt Adams.
Was 0-2, and then he draws the walk. MLB.TV Premium, the #1 live streaming sports service, delivers everything you have come to expect and more. Blackout and other restrictions apply. Visit MLB.TV for details. We were talking with Jed Jerko at the team hotel before we came over to the ballpark, and I said, well, you've been in St. Louis about a month. What do you think? He said it's unbelievable. You know, genuinely excited about playing for the Cardinals. And he mentioned the crowds, the atmosphere back home in St. Louis, winning team. He said this has been even better than I thought it was going to be.
You can well understand the Diamondbacks playing a night game tonight because they're trying to draw more fans, but they're not going to draw that many fewer fans by playing a day game.
Nope.
And that would be the Cardinals. Of course, the Diamondbacks are playing here tomorrow night. They really don't care about the Cardinals' travel plans, but you're right. I mean, there should be a day game played today with the Cardinals traveling, going from the West Coast to the losing 3 hours.
There is an MLB policy, early starts for teams traveling 3 time zones. You have to play a day game, but that's not the case here in Arizona, going back to St. Louis.
Yeah.
Here's the 0-2 pitch to Jed Jerko. On the inside corner and missed. You know, the Cardinals are trying to find the right situation to get Kolten Wong at bats, get him back on track. Little surprised to see him not in this lineup tonight. Right-handed hitters have just 2 hits in the last 23 at bats against De La Rosa, hitting .222 overall. You would think normally this would be a start for Kolten Wong.
Sure. Jim Hayes has reported Kolten in a weakened state, internal strife. Had the flu, lost 7 or 8 pounds in 3 or 4 days.
Did you see Jim's interview on the pregame show?
I did.
He's wearing a mask.
Yes, I saw that.
He had to protect himself.
Yeah.
There's a breaking ball and it's taken low. Count is even, 2 balls, 2 strikes. De La Rosa last start defeated the Pirates. 1 run, 3 hits in 6 innings. It's his first start since April 13th. Before that, previous 2 appearances were out of the pen, so he's been working both out of the pen and in the rotation. Some pretty good at bats being strung together back to back after falling behind 0-2.
I was thinking the same thing. Yadier Molina with the count 1-2, singles to right field. Matt Adams goes 0-2. He walks. Now Jerko was 0-2, and it's 3-2. Again, doubtful Molina will be running.
A 3-2 pitch. On the outside corner, Jerko did not like that.
I think Jerko thought it was outside, saying that 2-2 pitch was a slider that missed, and so was the 3-2. We'll see. Well, it's awfully close. I think Jed going on the fact that the 2-2 pitch was called a ball, so why not the 3-2 pitch identical?
Here's Aledmys Diaz, who now leads the National League in hitting at .468. Leads in on-base percentage and slugging percentage as well. Now has enough at bats to qualify for that #1 spot. He has a 7-game hitting streak, Tim, coming into play tonight. Some guys, they string together a hitting streak with maybe just 1 hit in that game. The next night, just 1 hit. Not Aledmys, 15 for his last 26. The 0-1 pitch to the Cardinals shortstop. 0-2. Talked to those at around the organization, and they said that Diaz was hitting the ball hard tail end of last year and certainly in the Arizona Fall League. Started to make that transition to another league. 0-2 is hit up the middle. Ahmed across the diamond, and he makes the play. Cardinals strand 2. We head to the bottom of the 2nd, and there's no score. Move to the bottom of the 2nd here in Arizona. Let's check in with Jim Hayes. Jimmy.
Dan, Jeremy Hazelbaker sure looked like he tweaked something during his at-bat in the 8th inning last night before the game. Talking to the media, Mike Matheny said they saw it too, but Hazelbaker is fine and he is available tonight. I asked Hazelbaker and he told me he's, quote, good to go. Matheny was also telling the media Piscotty starts in center tonight so they can get both Moss and Adams into the lineup, not necessarily because Grichuk is fighting it a little or Hazelbaker was unavailable. Dan, as you know, they really like to get Big City going.
Here's David Peralta. And Jimmy, we did see, though, with Jeremy Hazelbaker, at one point the medical team came out to check on him last night. Do we know exactly what the status was there?
They were checking him out, according to Hazelbaker. Mike Matheny not getting into a lot of details, basically saying he's good to go. he is available. And when some of the reporters asked Hazelbaker about the conversation, he said they just came out to say hi.
Oh, okay. Well, that's one way you avoid it. He answered the question. Look at you rolling your eyes. Here's the 0-2. Hit to short, Diaz. One away. 4 up and 4 down for Michael Wacha. First inning, struck out the side. That was Segura, Lamb, and Goldschmidt all looking.
You know what's been impressive about Michael thus far is his rhythm. Throwing strikes in total command thus far, but only 4 hitters, of course.
Here's Brandon Drury. 10 different players have homered in this series. And in the 3 games, we've seen 44 combined runs. In the air, shallow center. Who wants it? It's going to drop. Diaz never had a beat on it. And neither did Piscotty. It's that time of night. Sometimes the ball gets lost, and it looks like that's the case there with Diaz.
Yeah, that roof was open, and Diaz looked like he was looking for help. We talked about, or you talked about, appropriately, about Stephen Piscotty playing center field only 5 innings before tonight. That ball plopping down between the two of them. But credit Brandon Drury for running hard out of the box, even though he knew the chances of an out were great. He slides into second base with a double.
His 6th double this year. Chris Herman getting his 7th start of the year. Backs away from a fastball up and in. We saw last night, Chip Hale, and we've talked about it a lot, their bullpen with all the innings they've had. Chris Herman was warming up in the bullpen last night.
11-4 Cardinal victory.
1 ball, 1 strike. Cubs win today behind Jake Arrieta. They're now 16-5.
Arrieta 5-0. Philadelphia Phillies shutting out the Washington Nationals.
Wasn't that back-to-back games too?
Back-to-back, yes, sir. Won the first game 4-3, and that was all the runs the Nationals got.
One ball, 2 strikes. Arrieta had over 50 innings consecutive scoreless at Wrigley Field. That was snapped today and did not have a quality start, but did pick up a win. 1-2 the count. Runner at second is Drury. Now time is called. Arrieta, you think about all these great stories in the game of baseball, whether it's Colorado's shortstop, the Cardinals shortstop, Diaz. Arrieta was almost out of baseball, running out of chances. He wins the Cy Young, and now he's the most dominant pitcher in the game, arguably.
Happened almost overnight.
Yep.
In a 1.5-year period.
1-2 is a fly ball lifted out to deep right field. Moss is back. He'll look up, and it's gone. Went down to get it, and a 2-run homer.
That looked like a changeup, Dan, and not a bad pitch when a hitter has to lean out over the plate and one-hand the ball, as Herman did. First home run of the year hit off Michael Wacha.
That swing produces a home run.
Sometimes you have to just tip your hat to somebody. We talked about in game 1 how the ball just shoots out to right center. That another example.
Wacha was one of 7 pitchers entering play today with no home runs allowed. How does that swing generate a home run?
How does that swing generate a 2-run home run when that fly ball in shallow center had to be caught?
Well, you mentioned it the other night. I think you're spot on. The Diamondbacks are going to be playing games that are 10-8, 9-7, those kind of games, because the ball is just jumping out of this place.
Yeah.
Here's a 1-2. '45th home run hit at this ballpark this year. Now, watch this swing.
Yeah, I know. I mean, it's hard to believe. Out in front, good changeup, good location, down. I mean, even if you're looking for a pitch like that, it's hard to hit one out with that swing.
There's Nick Ahmed. The ballpark now has a feel of Coors Field. Routine fly balls find the seats.
Yeah.
One ball, one strike. So 45 have been hit here, 39 at Coors Field. Then you have Globe Life Park. That's Texas. Miller Park, and then the Great American Ballpark in Cincinnati. One ball, one strike on Nick Ahmed. Little chopper to third. And Carpenter makes the play. 2 innings in the books, a home run and a 2-run shot by Chris Herman. Top 2-0 as we move to the third here at Chase Field in Arizona. Michael Wacha will lead it off. Did you see that little conversation there with Wacha coming to the plate? And Herman, a little smile like, I can't believe that left the ballpark either.
Yeah. You had a few other non-believers, including us.
Yes. Wacha is 0 for 8 to start the year. No balls and 2 strikes. Wacha, then Carpenter and Piscotty. Cardinals in this series hitting close to .330. They popped 5 home runs. And a strikeout of Michael Wacha. So first time through this lineup, 5 strikeouts for Arizona's starting pitcher.
Well, that's impressive, Dan. We were talking between innings. That is the 5th straight hitter to which Ruby De La Rosa has gone 0-2.
Carpenter struck out swinging his first time up.
Talked about in game 1. Early strikes lead to early outs.
And a ground ball that is fair, taken by Goldschmidt. Steps on the bag for out number 2. Well, fans, if you can't watch the games on television, you can now stream games live on your mobile device. Just go to your app store, download the free Fox Sports Go app, log in, stream the Cardinals wherever you go. 2 outs and Stephen Piscotty. And Piscotty's had a great road trip. 571 on this trip. And already with 10 multi-hit games. Lined into right field for a base hit. Second Cardinal hit brings in Holiday. Missouri Lottery Fox Tracks.
This ball over the middle of the plate, and major league hitters trained to hit those hard. But so far, De La Rosa has been very effective moving the ball in and out, little slider, occasional changeup. Very efficient thus far against the Cardinals, a obviously hot hitting ball club.
2 outs, runner at first, and Holiday. He was robbed by Nick Ahmed. His first time up with a diving stop to his left. He's a very good defensive player at short. It'll be Mike Leake and Steven Strasburg tomorrow night. Over the weekend, the Cardinals will face Strasburg, Joe Ross, and Max Scherzer. 2-1 the count. Scherzer, of course, was drafted, pitched with Arizona.
Different pitcher then, though, wasn't he? Didn't have that changeup.
Yep.
Developed that changeup and became a totally different pitcher. St. Louisan.
Found great success with the Tigers, and now in year number 2 with Washington. Hit to third. Jake Lamb makes the play. Holiday is 0 for 2. Cardinals have stranded 3. Diamondbacks on top. is brought to you by Ford, the official cars and trucks of the St. Louis Cardinals. And get Major League coverage. T-Mobile has doubled its 4G LTE in the last year. We have come through Arizona at the right time, partner. I mean, this weather has been
gorgeous.
Perfect. Couple of months from now, different story.
Yeah. 'Tis the desert.
Ruby De La Rosa is 0 for 5 this year. High chopper to second. Jed Jerko. 1 out. You said something that stood out to me to start our game in that first inning. Wacha and his pace, just seems to be in control.
His rhythm, yeah. Really staying on top of his pitches tonight. He's really allowed only 1 ball out of the infield. I mean, I don't consider that little plop drop into shallow center field out of the infield. I mean, it's a ball that's normally caught, but Diaz and Piscotty couldn't see it. And then, of course, the home run. But
Gene Segura struck out his first time up. Part of a 5-player trade with the Brewers in the offseason. Kept in front by Adams. He'll take it himself. 2 down. Six is a serious number. Cardinals scores 6. Any size drink. Coffee, fountain drinks. They're only 50 cents the next day at On the Run. Lamb called out on strikes. 0 for 1. Was considered one of their top prospects a couple of years ago. Organizational Player of the Year in 2014. He was an All-Star the year before that in the minor leagues. The curveball makes it 0-2. Second curveball of the night. The other one was to Paul Goldschmidt. The 0-2. And a ground ball. Jed Jerko to his left. And again, everything on the infield. We head to the 4th. Diamondbacks on top. Cardinals tickets fill up at Phillips 66 with 8 gallons or more. Now until September 29th. Receive up to 50% off on a pair of tickets to a Cardinals home game. For more information, visit cardinals.com/Phillips66. Brandon Moss, Yadier Molina, and Matt Adams. Diamondbacks with a lead of 2-0 as we play in the top of the 4th. Moss showing bunt and looks at strike one.
Boy, you could see Lamb just racing in from third. Actually, he's the third baseman, of course, but he was right around the shortstop position.
Moss a 4-for-4 night. Game 2 of this series. Included in that was a 3-run homer.
That is Ahmed playing shortstop. That is not Jake Lamb.
There's that slider down and in.
Another 0-2 count.
And a strikeout of Moss. That's 6 already. Nick Ahmed, mentioned earlier, fielding percentage, one of the best in franchise history.
How about that play?
Heck of a player.
Woo. Under the bare hand and barehanded by Ahmed. Little flip there for a force of Piscotty at third. His good defense has been kind of lost in the shuffle with the Cardinals scoring all the runs the last couple of games.
Think about this. The Cardinals have won 4 of their last 5. And in those 5 games, they've scored 45 runs, 66 hits. One and one to count on Yadier Molina. 12 of 14 first pitch strikes.
That's how you win in the big leagues. Certainly helps. You force an offensive team to start swinging early in the count, to start swinging at the first pitch, not being able to settle in. If they take the first pitch, they fall behind. That's the mantra that is good pitching philosophy. And again, that strike one, you just cannot accentuate it enough.
3 balls, 1 strike on Molina. Single to right first time up. And he draws a walk. The second walk issued by Ruby De La Rosa.
First baseman, Matt Adams.
There's Benji Molina, Yadi's brother, lives in this area. Adams rips it out to right field, but Peralta is there. He'll try to double up Molina. The throw to first is offline. Benji, by the way, has authored a book on the Molina family, the 3 brothers, and in particular the influence of their father.
Good play by Goldschmidt to smother that low throw by Peralta.
Jerko struck out on a borderline pitch back in the 2nd inning and had words with the home plate umpire. You think about the Cardinals offense and trying to improve it from a year ago, which at times it was a team that just didn't score many runs. But they bring in Jerko, a healthy Brandon Moss. a full year of Stephen Piscotty. And all of a sudden, things change in a hurry. And Ledmus Diaz, a big part of this early season success of St. Louis. Pulled foul. 1 ball, 2 strikes. Strikeout of Jerko. 7 through 4 innings for Ruby De La Rosa. Paul Goldschmidt leads it off when we come back.
Fans at this time, we
Who is in the lineup again tonight for the Cardinals. With more on the Cardinals shortstop, we check in with Jim Hayes.
Dan, his teammates are doing their best not to go overboard about what Ledmus Diaz has done this month. Matt Carpenter told me it's hard not to be amazed. He said, quote, anybody doing what he's doing, hitting close to 500, it could be Barry Bonds out there, and you'd be, wow, that's amazing. For his part, Diaz is just trying to let it happen. He told me, I'm not letting myself think about it too much. I just want to keep it going. Dan, pretty smart approach in my opinion.
Leads the league in average, on-base percentage, slugging percentage. Normally you'd say that about the guy at the plate, Paul Goldschmidt.
You know, in a strange way, it might be better for Diaz not to have been with this culture, to have to answer questions about his performance. Say if he were from California or Wisconsin or Florida. Speaks very good English, I might add.
The 1-2 pitch.
But I mean, you just can't be blasé about it. I mean, what you're doing is historic.
He's batting 8th in the lineup, and Mike Matheny has talked about the fact that, look, we see the numbers, we get it. You know, most guys that are going like this would not be batting 8th, but we're not going to overexpose him. We're going to ease him into the major leagues.
I think that's smart too.
This is our way to do it. He gloves and throws to first. The other thing I've noticed, here in the last week or so. His defense, Tim, I guess it goes hand in hand with the offense, but he's starting to become a little bit more confident at shortstop defensively. You just see it on him. It was a huge loss this spring, that of Johnny Peralta, but Diaz has filled in quite well. It was a good changeup. Strike one on Peralta. Grounded out to short his first time up. Back-to-back changeups.
Second time through the lineup, do something different.
Mentioned it earlier in the game, but I just see a downward tilt with his fastball here tonight. Maybe more so this evening than in some of the other starts we've had him this year.
I agree.
There it is right there again.
That was a cutter right there, meant to be inside on Peralta.
The 1-2 pitch. Fly ball into center. Stephen Piscotty under it. The second out. So after the home run, a 2-run shot by Chris Herman, Wacha has sent the last 7 down straight. Six ground ball outs, 4 strikeouts. And a strike to Brandon Drury. Entered this season as the Diamondbacks' #3 prospect overall. And hitting .371 in his last 9 games.
From Grants Pass, Oregon. Yes, General Grant was out there in Oregon. I think it was 1849, about 11 years or about 13, 14 years before he commanded Abraham Lincoln's Army of the Potomac in the Civil War.
And the Diamondbacks have about as many uniforms as the Oregon Ducks. That's crushed. 3-0 Arizona. Long home run. Brandon Drury, his 3rd of the season.
We talked about his short, compact swing. This ball middle of the plate, not for long. Drury's eyes lit up. Ball was hit a long way.
It was Chris Herman who had a 2-run homer back in the 2nd inning. 3-0 Arizona. No balls, 2 strikes. That one was gone at any ballpark. Ball was crushed. Brought the forearm. It looked like a Molina trying to keep it in front with 2 strikes. And a strikeout from Michael Wacha, number 5. Home runs tonight for Arizona. Herman, a 2-run shot. And moments ago, Brandon Drury. We head to the 5th, 3-0 Arizona. Arizona tonight, their catcher Herman and also Drury, who's in left field tonight. The Diamondbacks with 3 hits and 3 runs. Here's Aledmys Diaz. Hot shot off the glove of Jake Lamb to first and got him. And both Diaz and Billy Miller looking into the Cardinals dugout to see if they want to have that reviewed. That's something we haven't talked about with Aledmys Diaz. He can run. Really runs well.
That first triple he hit, the only triple of the year, kind of opened our eyes to how he can cut it loose. Thought he was out there, though.
And he was. Good call. 1 out, nobody on, and Michael Wacha takes a pitch low. Pat had that update on Baltimore. Buck Showalter's club is 13-8, and they lead the American League East. He's a good baseball man, isn't he?
Yes, he is. Good manager.
He told me something in a spring training game that has always stuck with me. He said, when looking at a player, I will grab a media guide if it's somebody I'm not very familiar with. And he knows most players, as you know. He's astute at going through and making sure he understands all personnel. And if the player has only played baseball going through high school and college, and they've got all kinds of different ways to look at a player and his sporting history, he said that throws up a flag for him in a negative way. He says, I want to see kids that played hockey, football, basketball, whatever the case may be, in addition to baseball. And I asked him, I said, why? And he said, because the body is not meant to play this game 12 months out of the year. And it's certainly not meant to be played 12 months out of the year when you're a teenager. I just found it very interesting. That was his look at some of the development of players as they go along.
I wonder what his take would be in the Dominican Republic when youngsters play 13 months out of the year.
Exactly.
Down there.
It's now 8 strikeouts. Who are the latest legends that will be inducted into the Cardinals Hall of Fame? Find out tomorrow here on Fox Sports Midwest. You can watch that announcement of the 2016 Cardinals Hall of Fame class tomorrow at 6 on Fox Sports Midwest. So we'll unveil that right before Cardinals Live at 6:30. Pitch number 70 for De La Rosa. Fastball and a strike to Carpenter.
Then we came into the game realizing that the big story, the Cardinal offense, and the Cardinals have hit 2 balls out of the infield tonight.
Right.
1 base hit and an out to right by Matt Adams.
Fouled back by Carpenter.
Good pitching can anesthetize good hitting.
Always comes down to pitching, does it not?
Yeah, it really does. Another 0-2 count on a Cardinal hitter.
And Carpenter puts it in play. Slowly hit to Goldschmidt. Flips to De La Rosa. Carpenter is 0 for 3. Just 2 hits through 5 innings for the St. Louis Cardinals.
Ladies and gentlemen, in honor of our 2001
and Rick Hortner getting set to get their tickets for their replica Mike Shannon 1966 jersey. They're on their phones right now.
All right.
And going to cardinals.com/promotions for tickets. That's May 7th. 30,000 fans ages 16 and older receive that one-of-a-kind Shannon jersey, courtesy of Goodwill. Get up, baby, get up.
Yep. Two have gotten up for the Diamondbacks tonight. One by Herman, the other by Drury. That's been the only scoring thus far.
We'll see Mike Shannon back behind the microphone tomorrow as we head back to St. Louis.
Mike's first year was 70?
I believe so. Was in the front office for a year and then was in the booth. And a base hit into right for Chris Owings. What's on tap? Presented by Budweiser. Mike Leake tomorrow at 6:30 against Steven Strasburg. Leake is still winless in 4 starts, 0-2.
Have a tentative bat boy who left the bat out in front of home plate, and Nick Ahmed, the hitter, tossed it over there and he got the ball at the same time. Interesting situation with nobody out in the National League. You have the pitcher on deck, so you don't want to bunt. It's a good time to hit and run. Try first and third with a guy who can run, and that's what Wacha's thinking.
Owings probably the fastest player in this game.
Yeah. Yep.
Got 4 steals already this year. Pitch taken high.
Of course, other things to consider. Wacha is not a ground ball pitcher, so you may waste the runner by sending him and hitting and running. And Molina has the best arm in the universe.
The universe, huh?
Yes.
It's on his bio on page 78. 8 gold gloves.
Universe.
4 platinum gloves and best arm in the universe.
This side of Neptune.
It's the arm, it's the quick release, it's the exchange.
Transfer. So smooth and so quick.
Talked to Yadi about a week ago about his defense, and he said, you know, a lot of people, rightfully so, look to Mike Matheny, and he helped me out in particular blocking balls, but he mentioned Dave Ricketts, long-time member of the Cardinals family that worked specifically with catchers, and he said Dave was instrumental in his career.
Well, there are a lot of catchers that have good arms, but there aren't a lot of catchers who have good transfers from the mitt to the hand to the throwing area. That's vital, very important.
Runner goes, hit and run, hit out of play. So as you suspected. 2-2 the count.
It's a much better play with nobody out and the pitcher on deck. You don't want to bunt a guy over to second base for the pitcher. Got a high fastball and fouled it back.
You played in both leagues. Do you favor the non-DH of the National League?
This
style? Yeah.
I do. Slightly, but.
Double play ball. Diaz flips to Jerko on to first. It's a double play.
I think it's inevitable, however, that the designated hitter will come into baseball within the next 3 to 5 years.
The CBA, the collective bargaining agreement, is up after this year, and talking about money. You're talking about jobs for players.
Yep.
Aging stars.
Yep.
Ruby De La Rosa after the double play. Fastball taken high. You go back and look at the starts for Michael Wacha a year ago. The Cardinals very cautious with pitch counts and innings with him because of the shoulder. He does a lot of extra training and strengthening of that shoulder after every start, every day throughout the season. Pitch count only at 65. You may see him go potentially a little deeper here tonight. And the 1-2 pitch. Little chopper to Jedd Gyorko. Following the leadoff base hit, a double play, then the ground ball. And the Cardinals have 2, 3, and 4 coming up. Cardinals baseball on Fox Sports Midwest is brought to you by Ford, the official cars and trucks of the St. Louis Cardinals. And get Major League coverage. T-Mobile has doubled its 4G LTE in the last year. We started the night. If you watch the pregame, took a look at this offense of the Cardinals, which has been red hot coming into play tonight. And they have been shut down with only 2 hits. Stephen Piscotty, our BJC healthcare difference maker. Most multi-hit games in 2016. And Stephen already with 10. I mentioned earlier he's hitting close to 600 on this road trip.
Cardinals have not had the leadoff base runner on tonight. Piscotty, a guy who just might get it going.
And from the Cardinals' perspective, Tim, you're thinking, let's get into the Diamondbacks bullpen. It's been a sore spot.
Sure.
They have thrown already nearly 34 more innings than the Cardinals, their bullpen. That's an awful lot this early in the season.
In less than a month.
Yes.
Yeah.
Piscotty with a fly ball out to right. And Peralta is over to make the catch. Look at our Chevy Fox tracks. Piscotty now 1 for 3.
Following up one fastball with another inside part of the plate. He has really been hitting his spots tonight. Pedro Martinez, we talked about him earlier, his De La Rosa's grandmother, a nanny for the Martinez brothers. Pedro said he doesn't realize how good his stuff is.
Pretty good tonight.
Yeah, that's kind of what your catcher's for, too.
Pedro now in the Hall of Fame.
One of the all-time greats. There is no question about that.
Holiday hits it down the right field line, slicing, and out of play. You think about Pedro Martinez, and in the late 90s dominating during the steroid era. I mean, that's the other factor of that too.
Remember the All-Star game in '99 when he struck out 5, including McGuire and Bonds.
The 1-1.
I've often said that had Pedro completed that game, he may have had 20 strikeouts.
You think so?
Yeah, yeah. Hit 5 of the first 6. I'm just,
yeah,
you know, just for fun. Only lasted 2 innings that night. I mean, he was dealing.
And that was at Fenway Park.
At Fenway with Ted Williams, of course, out in the infield. And
you call
baseball's biggest tribute.
You know, so many great games and moments. I'm curious where that one ranks for you, to see Ted Williams brought out and the reaction of the fans and the current players of that time coming out to give him the ultimate respect.
It was among one of the great things I've ever seen.
9 strikeouts.
And felt.
Speaking of all-time greats, as we flash back, Diamondbacks celebrating the 2001 championship team, and this guy was something else. Once he learned control, it was over. And you know who taught him? Got him on track? Nolan Ryan.
Yeah, I've heard Randy speak of that.
Bob Brenly told me, who is the analyst for the Diamondbacks, not working tonight, as his son and his wife just had twins today. As Moss flies to center, he said Randy Johnson was the meanest guy you ever met in your life, and now he's one of the nicest people you'll ever come across. He's completely changed.
It's what happens when you take the uniform off.
Yep. .300 or more strikeouts for Randy Johnson. An incredible run that he had. 5-time Cy Young Award winner, over 300 wins, 10-time All-Star, and the co-MVP with Curt Schilling back in the 2001 World Series. He is the last to get to 300 wins. And he could be the last for a long, long time.
He may be the last forever.
Yep.
Pitchers are not starting 40 games anymore. 4-man rotations, 162 game schedule. You'd have of course, 4-man rotation, 40 starts. Now pitchers are starting anywhere from 32 to 34 games a year.
Segura with a fly ball into right. Moss in the corner and makes the catch. I just wonder about their motivation too, Tim, with all the money in the game. Do guys really want to pitch for 20, 25 years?
Yeah. Yeah. Good play by Moss.
John Smoltz, the first to go in the Hall of Fame that had Tommy John surgery. And he thinks he might be the last as well. Because starters, even if they have the surgery, you're going to miss a year at least. And the motivation for those pitchers to stay in the game just isn't there like it used to be. There's Jake Lamb and a good changeup from Michael Wacha. It's a different game, so then do you change the criteria for certain pitchers to get in? Because of what you mentioned, the rotations don't allow the 40 starts per year. Very tough to get to 300 wins, clearly.
Well,
line drive out to left, and it's over the head of Holiday. And Lamb on his way to second base with a double. So on this list, active wins leaders: Colon, Sabathia, Lackey, Verlander, and Peavy.
Yeah, but Colon is what, 41 or 2. Sabathia 37. They've got a long way to go.
Yeah. Here's Paul Goldschmidt 0 for 2. Colon, by the way, will be 43 tail end of May.
Mets have won 6 in a row. They're only a game behind Washington. Washington losing again to the Phillies this afternoon.
One ball and 2 strikes. Goldschmidt is struck out looking and grounded out to short. Defense has let down Wacha a little bit here tonight with a ball that should have been caught in shallow center. Then right after that, it was a 2-run homer and a ball that gets over the head of Holiday. Catchable. Would have taken a good play, but certainly catchable.
Yeah.
And Goldschmidt strikes out.
Good changeup right there. The impressive thing about Michael Wacha when he's going well is throwing the changeup from the stretch position, because he doesn't have the windup to fool the hitter. Great arm action, and he's had it since day one.
There's David Peralta. 0 for 2 tonight. A breaking ball here from Michael Wacha. A look at our Chevy Fox tracks.
Breaking ball, nice play by Molina. You rarely see Yadi go after a ball on the dirt by backhanding the ball. That ball fooled him a little bit.
0-1 pitch. Michael looks very good here tonight.
Yes, he does.
Runner at second is Jake Lamb. Well, we have a moment. Missouri Farm Bureau Insurance, Feeding Missouri, and the St. Louis Cardinals are teaming up to hit a home run against hunger. This Sunday, fans who bring a non-perishable food item to the ballpark and Ballpark Village from 10 until 1:30 receive a voucher for 2 free Cardinal tickets to an upcoming home game. Here's a 2-2 pitch on its way. And he struck him out. Back-to-back strikeouts after the double by Jake Lamb. Walker struck out 7. The Cardinals, though, only 2 hits tonight. A home run inning. Cardinals hit a home run. The Gateway Honda dealers donate $1,000 to the Make-A-Wish Foundation. Only 2 hits tonight. Ruby De La Rosa has been sensational.
3 base runners for the Cardinals. 2 singles and a walk.
Blues are through to the second round of the Stanley Cup playoffs. Fox Sports Midwest has post-game shows after every game. Player interviews, hear from the guys who know the Blues best. Missouri Lottery Blues Live, our post-game show, Fox Sports Midwest. Coverage continues tomorrow night after Game 1. And we'll have Cardinals baseball followed by the Blues post-game show. Good luck to the Blues. And a pitch taken low.
Looked like Yadi was taking that pitch too. He took the first pitch, got in the hole 0-1, and then took the second pitch.
1 ball and 2 strikes. The 2 hits tonight. One was by Molina with 2 strikes, single to right back in the second. And a base hit to right by Stephen Piscotty in the third. And a fly ball lifted into shallow right. David Peralta, one away.
Tell you, when a pitcher is zeroed in, it's almost like pitching through a narrow tunnel. Very little divergence, not missing by much, just off the plate. It's a big strikeout of Jerko earlier in the game on a 3-2 pitch that could have been a ball. That's about it. I mean, strike one all night long so far.
Set down 9 in a row since the walk to Molina back in the fourth. Inside to Adams. He's also shown, Tim, that with strike one, it's 92 to 94, but in his back pocket, he can get up to 96, 97. So he's got more velocity when he needs it.
You really ought to take here. And that's the reason. I mean, you know, you're down by 3. If you take, that ball's probably off the plate outside. And if it's not off the plate outside, it's not a good pitch at which to try to hammer. You could understand a swing like that 0-2, but not 2-0. And now it's 2-2. So you get the drift. The Cardinal way now used to include that. You're down by 3 in the 7th inning. You get a fastball, 2-0. It better be right there.
Good curveball. Strikes out Adams, and that is 10 tonight. We saw him at the end of last year, and it was nothing like we're seeing here tonight.
No, I'm telling you, he has pitched a masterpiece here so far tonight.
So with 2 outs, there's Jed Jerko. Jerko 0 for 2 with a pair of strikeouts. And a ground ball that's hit to short. Ahmed can't come up with it. His 3rd error this year.
Shortstop, Aledmys Diaz.
Brings in Aledmys Diaz.
Well, came up at the last minute, hit Ahmed in the heel of the glove. It's a big league error right there.
The Cardinals would have the pitcher spot due up next if Diaz could reach. Jeremy Hazelbaker has moved to the on-deck circle. A strike to Diaz. He's 0 for 2, pair of groundouts. You know, the other impressive thing about Aledmys Diaz, he's only struck out 3 times this year. That's it.
Yeah.
Serves it into right, but there is Peralta. Time to stretch. De La Rosa is through 7. 3-0. Arizona on top here in Game 4. 8,000 fans ages 16 and older collect their very own wearable 1946 World Series championship replica ring. So get your tickets today at cardinals.com/promotions. Michael Wacha, his final inning of work will be right here. Brandon Drury looks at a ball high.
Harry Walker dumping a ball into left center field. Here comes Slaughter. Pesky hesitates. Slaughter scores in the 7th inning. The 1946 World Series. Part of Cardinal lore.
Great run in that 1940s championships of 42, 44, and 46.
Only time they played the Browns was 1944 during the war, of course.
Two and one to count. Drury is 2 for 2. Walk has only allowed 5 hits. He has struck out 7. Popped up. Right side. Long way to go for Adams in foul territory. Can't get there. Cricket, something to smile about.
The old quasi-hidden ball trick.
You're the analyst. Analyze that.
I know. I can't.
Something to smile about. 3-2 the count. Anything that happens here at the ballpark, you're supposed to be able to break it down, dissect it eloquently, make sense of it all.
It's what we do in our business. We break it down.
Yes, we do.
Yes.
Hey, the mascot just picked up the foul ball. Baxter. One of the more exciting moments of this game. Here's a 3-2 pitch. Seth Main is throwing in the Cardinals pen. Tyler Lyons was up earlier. And the 3-2 pitch to Drury. Breaks his bat. Short hop taken by Carpenter. That's the first out here in the bottom of the 7th.
So another thing that Michael Wacha rarely does is break a bat. Usually you have to get the fastball moving inside to a right-hander. We talked about it earlier. You have to usually throw that two-seam fastball that bites inside. But Michael does not have that pitch. I think ultimately he'll develop that pitch. Michael's developed the cutter, and if you use that less and use that two-seamer more, he'll find himself getting more ground balls.
Something that if you ever talk to Dave Duncan, who is now with Tony La Russa here in Arizona, he would just preach the two-seamer and ground balls.
You bet.
Here's an 0-2 pitch. That's tapped foul.
Well, if the double play's a pitcher's best friend, then be friendly.
It sounds like a slogan.
Yeah. Pick your friends.
There's a ground ball foul. This guy smiles a lot. If we ever need that cricket sponsorship again, just keep a camera on Chris Herman.
Yes, he does. Of course, he had reason to smile back in the second when he hit the 2-run home run one-handedly.
Not smiling now. Strikes out against the changeup, and that's 8 for Wacha. Plaza Tire Service as we take a look at the last pitch.
Remember, back in the second inning, Herman hit that changeup out of the ballpark. Strikes out on it his last time up. Matter of fact, he struck out twice on the changeup, and he's homered on the changeup.
There's Chris Owings. Curveball. For my money, this is as good as we've seen Michael Wacha this year. Spring training, regular season. Granted, it's early, but he's been good tonight.
Even though he's given up the 2 home runs, he's pitched with a lot of confidence, a lot of good rhythm.
The 1-1. Hit out of play. This could be his final pitch of the night with 1 ball and 2 strikes on Owings. Single to right and also struck out.
Michael Spott will lead off the top of the 8th inning.
2-2. Two pitch. Notice Matt Carpenter, last 2 pitches, right when the ball is being delivered, not walking into the pitch, but walking toward second base to his left. Sometimes what you'll see before Molina gives the signs is that he'll direct right or left, be heads up. Could be this type of pitch that gets pulled.
Well, I'm not too sure that Matt can see that, but with more experience, Diaz will be able to relay that to Carpenter. If, for instance, it's a cutter to a right-handed batter, you have a sign with Matt, and he'll move a step or 2 to his left. Keep it as simple as you can, however, particularly with the young shortstop out there.
A 2-out walk, Nick Ahmed. Grounded into a double play. That was in the 5th, and also grounded out to 3rd. Carpenter is in a few steps at 3rd base. We are in the bottom of the 7th, 3-0 Arizona. A 2-run homer by Chris Herman back in the 2nd inning. And Brandon Drury is solo shot in the 4th. Pitch taken low. 8th inning becomes crucial for the Cardinals because Brad Ziegler, their closer, has been very good. 32 straight.
Yeah, and 34 of 35.
The 1-0 pitch, runner goes. Molina from his knees. No chance there. Owings with stolen base number 5.
Yeah, that was just too much for Molina to do anything with. Owings with a great jump off of first base. No chance.
So they will walk Ahmed and force the hand here of Chip Hale to see if he wants to take out De La Rosa or let him hit with 2 runners on. It looks like they're going to pull him back.
I tell you, if you're the Cardinals, you love this move.
You bet.
This might be the only way they can win the game.
And a nice round of applause as he strikes out 10.
Yeah. get him out of the game, and who's going to be the only bridge to get to Ziegler? That's what the Cardinals have to be thinking right now. I mean, they love this move. Get De La Rosa out of the game. Because if they get Ahmed out, then De La Rosa's going back out there, one would think.
Yep. But you have to get this man here, Yasmani Tomas.
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah.
Number 24, Yasmani Tomas.
So Tomas with 2 runners on will pinch hit here in the bottom of the 7th. And the Diamondbacks up by 3. And a check swing on a breaking ball. He did go. Runners advance those. That scoots away from Yadier Molina.
Segura swinging through the ball in the dirt. Breaking ball. It went too far. Ball kind of squirted through Yadi's legs. Tell you your game plan to me, if you're pitching to Tomas, don't throw him a strike. If he gets a hit here, make him hit a ball out of the strike zone.
His first pinch hitting appearance this year. 1 ball, 1 strike. Tomas with 5 home runs. He's driven in 12, batting .280. Here's a 1-1 pitch. 1-2 the count. Pitch count getting up there for Michael Wacha. It's at 112. Two for 22 in his career as a pinch hitter. Wacha would love strikeout number 9 right here. The 1-2 evens it up. Wacha got the first 2, then it was a walk to Owings on a 3-2 pitch. The intentional walk of Nick Ahmed. De La Rosa pulled back, and Yasmani Tomas the pinch hitter. 2 balls, 2 strikes. And Wacha gets the strikeout on the inside corner. 9 tonight for the Cardinals right-hander.
Tomas thought it was inside, but Wacha got the call.
Pitch the 8th inning. Archevy called to the pen. Off to a good start. 8 of his 9 appearances have been scoreless. And a look at his Hyundai pitch arsenal.
Starting long off of that fastball, and then he'll go to the changeup. He's got a good one.
Wong is a pinch hitter. He's 2 for 2. Pinch hit for Michael Wacha. Cardinal pinch hitters have been the best in baseball. A .362 on base percentage, 16 hits, 7 home runs in this first month.
Remarkable.
And the first pitch is taken for a strike. Hudson, one of those players that's had Tommy John surgery not once but twice. Was with the Diamondbacks all the way back in 2010. 0-2 the count. There's no doubt that Kolten Wong is fighting it right now.
Caught in between. Takes a fastball on the outside corner and then a check swing on an inside fastball. If you're Hudson, you don't throw him a strike. 0-2, 1-2.
De La Rosa, 7 innings tonight. 2 hits, 10 strikeouts, walked 2. No runs allowed. Wong, the pinch hitter for Michael Wacha. Then we'll see Carpenter and Piscotty. Inside, evens it up at 2 balls and 2 strikes. May remember at one point Hudson was a starter and in the rotation for the Diamondbacks and was a 16-game winner. The 2-2. Fouled back and a good cut by Kolten Wong.
Real good swing on a hitter's pitch.
It's another 2-2. Wong reaches for it, grounds to first, and there's one away. This copyrighted telecast is presented by the authority of the Cardinals. It may not be reproduced or retransmitted in any form, and the accounts and descriptions of this game may not be disseminated without the express written consent of the St. Louis Cardinals. Along with Jim Hayes and Tim McCarver, I'm Dan McLaughlin. Wrapping up a road trip that took us through San Diego and here in Arizona tonight, then back home tomorrow night. Steven Strasburg against Mike Leake. And our coverage begins with the Hall of Fame announcement at 6, then Cardinals Live at 6:30. Carpenter is 0 for 3, pair of ground outs and a strikeout. Last base hit for the Cardinals was in the 3rd. Ground ball backing up. Goldschmidt to Hudson. 2 down. And with 2 outs, the hitter will be Stephen Piscotty. He has one of the 2 hits, a single to right back in that 3rd inning. Mention all the innings that are piling up for the Diamondbacks in their bullpen. They also have issued the 4th most walks in all of baseball, 38. 2 outs, nobody on. Kevin Segura starting to throw in the Cardinals pen. He, along with Colt Wong, on this trip battling the flu.
Yeah, so far, Dan, from Chris Herman's standpoint, it's almost like catching a winning doubleheader. He's got a 2-run home run, and he's called a shutout. Can't tell you how good that makes a young man feel.
A 1-1 pitch. And any catcher will tell you their responsibility. They always tell you, well, my responsibility is to my pitchers and to my staff. But when you can be.
Then if you hit $180, they send you out.
Right. Exactly. That's exactly where I was going. But if you don't hit, see you later. One ball and 2 strikes. Strikeout of Piscotty. Cardinals have struck out 11 times in this game. We head to the bottom of the 8th. It's 3-0 Diamondbacks. Baseball is brought to you by Bud Light. Raise one to right now. Kevin Segura into the ball game, one of the top lefties coming out of the Cardinals pen, and our Chevy call to the bullpen. Already with 3 wins. And over the last 2 years, 10 wins.
Yeah, he's been as good as anybody out of that bullpen.
Scoreless appearances in 8 of his 9. And he's striking out 14 per 9. I mean, think about that. Just overpowering.
Yeah.
Yeah, this bullpen, Tim, has been good as advertised coming out of spring training. Real positive for the Cardinals.
Well, and the improvement of Segura is his selection of pitches. Good changeup, good curveball now.
He is in relief of Michael Wacha. Wacha tonight, 7 innings, 3 runs on 5 hits. He struck out 9, walked 2, 1 intentional, and gave up a pair of homers. Segura, one of the rare times he's been hitless in a ball game this year. He's 0 for 3. Struck out, grounded out, flied out. Ziegler is set to pitch in the top of the ninth. And a high chopper, and that's fair. Carpenter was playing in, and Segura a leadoff double.
How did Segura reach that ball? That was a changeup off the plate away. Just flailing at it. Just fair down the third base line. Ball's almost on the ground.
Jake Lamb with a double over Matt Holliday's head back in the 6th inning, then was left stranded.
You may see a bunt here. The Diamondbacks up by 3. Man at second, nobody out.
Runner goes at Segura. Carpenter to the bag, late in getting there, ever so slightly, and Segura has his 4th stolen base of the year.
Well, Carpenter was late in retreating to third base. He saw Carpenter in front of the line, and I mean, he took off and actually stole on Carpenter. Cardinals may review it. He looks safe to me. I don't know. We'll see. See, Carpenter's in front of the line. I'm not too sure Matt saw him running. And then the sweep tag.
Ooh, that's
I don't
close.
know. Yeah, that is. Did the glove hit the wrist before it got to the bag? Close.
Seeing it slow down like that, I do think he's safe.
Yeah, I do too.
So with that, the infield is drawn in. You won't see many teams try to steal third base with a lefty up.
Against Molina.
Exactly.
No. Well, he stole that against Matt Carpenter.
Here's a 1-1 pitch. Very late with that swing. Two and two. Paul Goldschmidt is on deck. You see Seagrass say that's terrible. He thought he had strike 3. The 2-2.
Key pitch right here. Otherwise, you're pitching to Goldschmidt with runners on at first and third. Strikeout would be huge here.
And then you question whether or not you would even pitch to him. Well, all for naught. There's the walk.
Now batting, first baseman, Paul Goldschmidt.
So runners at first and third, nobody out.
This is one of the toughest plays for a man at third base with nobody out, first and third, ground ball to the infield. Whether to go, the one thing you do not want is to try to score, be thrown out at home, and have the defense first and second and one out. So a lot of heat on Segura. That's provided you get a ground ball to an infielder, of course.
We talked about it the other night too, Tim. It's a situation with Goldschmidt up. He puts a ball in play, and he can be pitched to. He has struck out 22 times, but that ball is coming in hot somewhere. Oh, 1 pitch. Misses on the inside corner. On both sides, they have not gotten the inside corner on righties or the outside corner to the lefties. Here's a 1-1 pitch. Big pitch coming up. 2 balls, 1 strike. Got him with a changeup to pop it up. Had him out in front as Gyorko makes the catch. Runners stay put. Let's see if Siegrist can't get that double play.
If the Cardinals come from behind and win this game, and it's a mighty challenge to them, but that one pitch will be the pitch that they look back on and say, that was the game right there, but a lot of work to do. Mike Matheny saying, watch the bunt by Peralta. That was specifically for Matt Adams. Infield in double play depth.
1 out, runners at the corners. And the first pitch to Peralta. Popped up, left side. Diaz makes the catch, and runners stay put. He is 1 out away from getting out of this 8th inning jam.
Yeah, Segura tagging at third base, trying to make Diaz commit. And Aledmus running the ball back in. That's what infielders are trained to do. So 2 big pop-ups. The 2 pitches. The first to Goldschmidt up the chute. And then to Peralta.
Strike 1. Brandon Drury has had a good night with a double that dropped in front of Piscotty, and to his credit, he was hustling and then homered on a 2-1 pitch to left. Arizona has struggled in these spots this year. Popped up, and Siegrist will get out of this jam. What a job. He strands 2. We head to the 9th. It stays 3-0. Thank you, Pat. Thank you, Hungo. Looking forward to the post-game show. It's our Chevy call to the pen. 36-year-old Brad Ziegler, who pitched at Missouri State, comes into the ball game. And Holiday on the first pitch hits a fly ball down the right field line. This may drop. Great effort by Goldschmidt. And it's strike one.
Boy, he went a long way for that ball.
Sure did.
He went farther down the line than the right fielder went from the right field position.
Diamondbacks picked up Ziegler, and here's the effort by Goldschmidt. They were looking for right-handed relief help in the 2011 pennant race, and Kevin Towers, the GM at the time, sent first baseman Brandon Allen and a left-handed pitcher to the A's for Ziegler. And so many guys you hear when they throw in this type of fashion, sidearm, sidewinder, submarine, whatever you want to call it, they do so because of injury, and that wasn't the case here with Brad. He threw naturally overhand. The A's, and he was a starter in their minor leagues, high level.
The coaches, the pitching coaches for the A's convinced him, and that's the danger pitch right there.
Out to deep left, and it's off the wall. Holiday will trot into second base. Standing up with a double. You may see a pinch runner for him.
He got under that slider, and that's the danger, and that all it does is spin. The players refer to it as a concrete mixer, and that's what it was. Under the slider, a hanger, and Drury, a ball that could have been caught. Saw a ball hit over the head of Holiday earlier, similar to that. I think you can afford to not pinch run for Holiday right now because you got a 3-run. You're 3 runs behind, not 1.
Now, having said what you just talked about with the cement mixer, if you will, might play right into the hands of a left-handed hitter.
Well, you don't throw that pitch. That's why you stick with a fastball going away from a guy like Moss.
Here's a 1-0 pitch.
Moss, a teammate of Ziegler's when they were both with the Oakland A's for a long time.
Remember Chad Bradford?
Sure.
They had him here in Arizona, and he threw basically from the dirt on the mound. He was that low. And
sometimes would scrape his
that's right,
his knuckles on the ground.
And Arizona was looking for someone similar to that. He had good success here with the Diamondbacks, so they traded for this right-hander, and now all of a sudden he's turned into their closer. At the age of 27, he reported to Instructional League to learn how to throw like this. Moss on the night is 0 for 3 with a couple of strikeouts. I'm sure we have a number of fans in Springfield, Missouri that remember Brad. He played for Missouri State. Mike Matheny's son, Tate, played for Missouri State and was drafted by the Boston Red Sox. He's been dealing with some back issues here lately.
Up top. That's a new slice of Brad Ziegler.
Molina on deck, and here's a 2-2 pitch to Moss. When you don't have a closer that's the guy that comes in throwing 100, it just seems like you got a chance. You've got that chance to come back.
Yeah.
And it's a walk to Moss, and the tying run will come to the plate.
Well, those walks are killers, aren't they? When you have a 3-run lead.
As you mentioned, Tim, if the Cardinals come back, you can point to the bottom of the 8th in the job of Kevin Segrist. this crowd, it sounds like a home crowd with a chance of Yadi.
Chris Herman stepping out in front of home plate and giving signals. Why? What do they mean? First and second, nobody out. Ziegler trying to get a ground ball.
And ball one to Yadier Molina.
And how do you approach this if you're Molina? You try to make him get the ball up. He'll try to keep the ball down to get the ground ball for the double play. Little tension mounting here, huh, Danny?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
One 1-0 pitch to Molina. 2 balls, no strikes. Matt Adams is on deck. Just wonder about the momentum that carries over from the bottom of the 8th. Arizona's one swing away from really putting the game out of reach. The 2-0.
Diamondbacks playing Molina way around toward right field. Peralta, the right fielder, toward the line.
The 2-1 pitch to Yadier Molina. Double play ball. Out at second, out at first. Brandon Drury with our Nissan drive of the game back in the 4th. And a no-doubter. Wacha gave up 2 home runs. That's the difference in the game. Adams has walked, lined out, and struck out. The strike to Adams. Budweiser player of the game is Ruby De La Rosa. 10 strikeouts tonight, 94 pitches. Jerko's spot would be due up next. Jeremy Hazelbaker is on deck. Adams with a high fly ball out to deep right field. Peralta is back and with room. The Diamondbacks and Cardinals split the 4-game series. A night in which Michael Wacha, Tim, was very, very good, just not enough offense.
Yeah, just bested by Ruby De La Rosa. A save for Ziegler. Some tension there in the 9th inning after the double by Holiday and the walk to Brandon Moss. 2 balls and no strikes to Molina, but Ziegler got the double play ball, and that for the most part was it.
Cardinals drop this one. They're now 12-10. Start a long homestand tomorrow night. Post-game show comes your way next with Pat Paris and Al Hrabosky.